Aloha and hello out there, everybody. What's going on? This is Kevin Mahalik with the Too Close to Call podcast series here with Too Close to Call Sports. This is the Road to Victory podcast where we're talking Philadelphia Eagles. And guys, I just wanted to release another quick podcast here. I know we discussed the Birds-Seahawks game this Tuesday on Usala Media and Usala Radio, and I'll be posting that show here on the podcast feed today, here Thursday. Looks like Thursday night it should be up and running for you guys. I gotta wait for them to put it on speaker, and then I can bring it out there for the rest of you guys through Too Close to Call Sports. But I wanted to get another short episode out here for you. A couple of minutes, kind of wrapping up thoughts on the Eagles, getting ready for Sunday's game. And I'll be riding solo today. Usually have Pags on the line here talking with me, but congratulations goes out to Pags. They have welcomed their second son, Jamie, and his wife Alyssa. Young boy Brady was born earlier this morning. So obviously Pags is going to be MIA the next couple of weeks here. He's going to have his hands full with his second kid there at home. But wanted to give a shout out to him and everything going on. But didn't want to leave you guys hanging out there. Wanted to continue to bring you guys quality content and talk Birds, talk Seahawks as we head to the end of the week here. I know all of you guys are looking forward to the matchup on Sunday. Been out there this week around the town. Everybody's excited. Everybody thinks we have a chance. And it's one of those things when people ask me how I'm feeling, I say, if you're not feeling the best you have all year going into this game, I don't know what the heck you're waiting for. They've won 4 in a row. Yes, 3 of them are against crap teams. One of them is against the 8-8 Dallas Cowboys, so I don't even think you can consider them a quality team anymore. It's just a matter of if it's a good win or not for the Birds. But either way, it's a game they had to get, and they won it to their credit. So it sets up a home playoff game with the Seahawks here like we talked about, and feeling good into the game is certainly more of a gut reaction, because when you look at some of the statistics online and the history between the two teams, it certainly doesn't favor Philadelphia whatsoever. If you look into a little bit more of the background, I decided to do some digging in the the matchup between these two teams. I talked about specifics this Sunday, but looking into a little bit of the history here, Seattle has owned Philadelphia. I mean, we suck against the Seahawks. The Seahawks have won 5 straight. The Eagles haven't won since 2008, and they've won 7 of 8 going back to 2005. And we just rang in 2020, ladies and gentlemen. So the Birds have beaten the Seahawks 1 time in 15 years. I mean, think about that. What the hell were you doing 15 years ago? I was in high school. That would have been sophomore year, I believe it was. I was just learning to drive a car that January. So about 9 months later was the last time the Birds beat the Seahawks. And honestly, a lot of these games haven't been that close. They really haven't been super competitive. Again, it's been a lot of the turnovers, the slow starts. Russell Wilson has owned the Eagles for as long as he's been the quarterback for the Seahawks, looking back at it. But turnovers are really the name of the game. And I discussed that during the radio show this week. But, jumping into a little bit more detail here, just looking back on the first matchup, Carson Wentz and his fumbleitis, man. I mean, he just put the ball on the turf over and over and over again. He even had one play that didn't count as a fumble because there was defensive holding. So the 5 turnovers could have very easily turned into 6. And a lot of that gets back to Andre Dillard playing right tackle. He's obviously not going to be in the lineup this week unless something happens to Jason Peters on the left side of the line. But as of today, we're recording this here Thursday afternoon, going off of what happened today at practice. Lane Johnson was taking part in individual drills during team activity. Him and Jason Peters were off to the side. They were using the elastic band, trying to get weight going the other way against him. Peters was kind of the anchor, and Johnson was going into his pass sets and things like that, testing out the ankle, and he looked pretty good. So if he has a chance to play, we certainly know his history is that he is going to play. So I do expect Lane to suit up and give it a go this weekend, which, then creates a little bit of a domino effect. You have Lane Johnson at right tackle. That means you're going to move Halapoulivaati Vaitai into the right guard position and take Matt Pryor out of the lineup. As good as Matt Pryor was, he is not technically sound whatsoever when it comes to, technique, obviously, fundamentals. He is just a humongous human being. And that's why he was successful this past week against the Giants. You know, looking back at the film, kind of breaking it down, there were a lot of times where his hand positioning was terrible, maybe his weight distribution was off ever so slightly, but just his size alone, he's able to recover and utilize his strength to not get beat, you know, when he's off leverage or off kilter. But Vaitai with a full week of practice. This is now 3 weeks, 3 straight weeks he's been in for Johnson, so he's been running with the ones in practice for 3 to 4 weeks now, so you certainly don't think that should be a huge issue for him. And obviously going back to the first matchup, he was at right guard while he was at guard while Dillard was out at right tackle. So he's played the position as recently about a month ago. He was okay, obviously had his struggles as well, but certainly think with the recent uptick in performance that he can carry that over as they move to the inside of the line. But that's where it's going to be won or lost. Once again, I've thought about this game a bunch of different times. Really, what's it going to come down to? There's 3 things, really. It's the Eagles' offensive line, being able to dictate the line of scrimmage. 1, in the running game, obviously, knowing what, how that's kicked off here the last month or so. And let's dive into that a little bit here. The rushing attack, let's see. They had 32 rushes for $118 against the Giants, 28 for 157, 30 for 118, 31 for 121. So, averaging about 120, 130 here over the last month has really obviously driven this offense and allowed Carson Wentz to become himself once again because they're staying ahead of the chain. So the offensive line going to have to continue that strong stretch, dictate the line of scrimmage. Obviously, Seattle's a little bit banged up. Let's see, Jadeveon Clowney, like we talked about, not 100%. He's certainly going to give it a go. But a few others up front, and that's the matchup to watch when the Eagles have the football, is can they dictate the line of scrimmage and keep Carson Wentz upright? Because Carson will be in his first playoff game, ladies and gentlemen, obviously playing his best football in just about 2 years, but it is that first playoff game. And this is something else I wanted to look at is, kind of quarterbacks in recent memory, their first playoff games. And fortunately enough, somebody else had thought about this as well. Shout out Jimmy Kempski from Philly Voice. I found this stat that he had put out there where first-year quarterbacks are 10-22 in their first ever playoff start. So 10 out of 32, 1 out of 3, not great. Not great at all, but Carson in his 3rd year is a little bit of a buck to the trend there. A lot of these guys get there in their first couple of years. Some take longer, but once again, that initial game, 10-22 for a winning percentage of .313. Oh boy, Russell Wilson here, he's making his 14th start of the playoffs. He's not going to have any jitters. He knows what's going on. Super Bowl champion, should have been again Super Bowl champion. He's not going to be overwhelmed by the moment or going on the road to Philadelphia. So, and that leads to number 2. Number 1, the offensive line, being able to dictate, keep Carson upright. Number 2, Russell Wilson, containment. Guys, I'm not going to tell you anything you don't know out there listening to this podcast about Russell Wilson's ability to extend the play and make plays out of the pocket. Everybody who's watched the Seahawks is a football fan, understands that this man is one of the most dangerous men in the NFL with the football in his hand. So the point I just need to make is discipline in your rushing lanes up front, whether it's 4, 5, or 6, whoever you're bringing, knowing your responsibility and staying in that responsibility. If you have B gap, even though it looks like there's an opportunity to go inside to the A gap, you need to let that go. Stay within your spot, because even if you give up the A gap and you get pressure on him, he's going to be able to escape and get through that B gap where you just came from and create a big play. So even if we don't get sacks, getting pressure, moving the pockets, Fletcher Cox up front in the middle, pushing the pocket, not allowing Russell to step up, forcing outside plays, and then you got Graham, Barnett on the outside, hopefully maintaining containment to keep him in the pocket, because they did this the first matchup and had 6 or 7 sacks, I believe it was. So kind of looking at that film, very similar approach, very similar, kind of game plan for the defense to contain Russell. And then third of all is the Eagles secondary. I really truly believe that Monday we're going to be talking about the secondary and either breakdowns in the secondary or excellent play from the secondary, because Malcolm Jenkins, he's been fantastic. Rodney McLeod, he's been solid. More specifically, the corners, Sidney Jones, Rasul Douglas, Jalen Mills looks to be coming back in this one. Obviously, Darby's out, so it's going to be Mills and probably Douglas with Maddox and Jones rotating in. And we know Douglas has the bullseye on him. We've seen the Giants take, 5, 6 shots right up against it. Unbelievable. So we know they're going to try to get DK Metcalf one-on-one with Rasul, take the deep shots, try to give Russell Wilson time, and take advantage of it. And that's why you got to get pressure after him, and you got to get pressure and maintain your lane. So up front, it's the Eagles' offensive line. On defense, it's going to be a combination of the defensive line and the corners. Honestly, I don't think Seattle's going to be able to run the ball, whether the Eagles' defense or run defense specifically is good or bad. I don't think it's going to matter. I think Seattle's going to struggle regardless. So it's really going to come down to those 2, 3, 4, 5 plays that Russell can make, and whether the Eagles can, stop them or at least contain them and not give up the trick play as well, which we've seen in the past. So, those are the 3 keys that I have. But rewatching the film last week, there was one thing I wanted to touch on. I wanted to touch on this during the radio show, but I was unable to get there due to time constraints, is a little bit of the Eagles' offense becoming predictable. And what I mean by that is I was breaking down formations and play calls out of those formations. So first I did the under center / shotgun distribution, and then I did run or pass within both of those categories. So ultimately 4 columns, under center, shotgun, run, pass under both of them. And I did first half, second half. So going through it here, running through the drives, once again, let's talk about, first of all, the touchdown drive near the end of the half. 2 run plays out of shotgun, 3 pass plays out of shotgun, 1 QB center under run, and 2 pass plays from under center. And the reason I bring that one up is because it was the most balanced out of any of them in the first half. I mean, they had 1, 2, 3 punts in a row, and that distribution went 3 and out, 3 shotgun passes, 4 and out, 2 shotgun runs, 2 shotgun passes, 3 and out, 1 shotgun run, 1 shotgun pass, 1 under center. So they just don't go under center very often. And even further, as I was breaking down the numbers, so let's look at the totals for the game, and then I'll kind of talk to you based on that. But the totals: 14 runs out of shotgun, 34 pass out of shotgun. So heavy pass tendency when the Eagles are in shotgun. Almost 3 to 1, pass to run when you're in the shotgun. So right there, that's an alert for the defense. Just breaking down the shotgun snaps. If you see Carson in the shotgun, more often than not, 3 to 1, it's going to be a pass play out of shotgun. And breaking it down one more step, the pass plays run out of shotgun are typically quick passes from the Eagles offense. So the big plays, the down the field attempts, all come out of the play action set, but not from shotgun. A lot of times it's either that zone read with Carson, where he's kept it a couple times against Dallas. He didn't really do it as much against the Giants. I think there was 1 or 2 called runs for him, but the zone read where he keeps it, and or slants coming off the backside or in routes. Very rarely do we get a shotgun 7-step drop deep, long developing routes, because when he's in shotgun, it's not 2 tight ends. They're out flexed wide. They're typically spreading the field, trying to get you in that zone, get that quick pass out, 5 to 10 yards, stop route, out route, cross routes, all of the above. And then when they move under center, 15 runs under center and 11 passes. And out of the 11 passes, 7 were play action. So heavy run under center, and they were very successful with this against the Giants, specifically on first down. They were able to stay ahead of the chains in excellent fashion against the Giants using under center run plays. And then when this becomes successful, obviously that's when you get to the play action off of the under center run look. And these pass plays, due to the timing, you're obviously faking the play action. There's typically a little bit of a pocket move, maybe not a complete rollout, but a little bit of shift, which gives more time for the routes to develop down the field and come together behind everybody. And that's what I've seen. So every big play, looking at it before, the Josh Perkins touchdown coming across the end zone was a under center play action pass. They had the long play to Josh Perkins, not Josh Perkins. Oh my God, I don't even know the guy's name. Davis, I think, the play before, 14, that got called back for the holding call. That was under center going downtown. The Greg Ward out and up late against, I believe it was the Giants at home, was coming from under center. So a lot of their big plays in recent weeks have come from under center in the play action. So for you guys out there watching the game this Sunday, keep an eye on that. When Carson's in the shotgun, 3-1, it's typically a pass, and it's going to be quick. Okay, they've been using Scott and you know the read option out of it. Yes. But if it's a pass, it's a quick pass. It's not going to be a shot play. So if he comes out in shotgun, look for the zone defense, look for the matchup, and see where they're going to go with the football. If they come out under center, it's either going to be a run play or a play action play off the run to which a medium deep route is coming open. So when you see them in 1st and 10 or 2nd and 1 and they go under center, earlier in the game, it's probably going to be a run down, but later in the game, those are your shot plays. Once you cross the 50-yard line, get to Seattle's 40-ish, first down, those are typically shot downs. And they're going to come from under center, out of play action, because you have max protection, 1 or 2 man routes. If it's not there, Carson, hit the running back delay, hit the tight end delay, get rid of the football. But it allows you to bring max protection, look for the big plays down the field. And the Birds are going to have to hit a play or two down the field, ultimately, if they're looking to win this game. They're not going to be able to sustain drives 8, 10, 12 plays over and over and over again when it comes to beating the Seattle Seahawks. So, you know, those are the key points. Relatively quick show for you here today, guys, just under about 20 minutes. You know, really, I guess I should give you a prediction now that we're wrapping things up here. Once again, I'm going to go to the Sugar House here to get a late line. Well, not late. I mean, it's Thursday, but an update from Tuesday to see if we've had any shift. Really hasn't. Stayed steady. Seahawks -2. A lot of the FPI's predictions have actually the Birds, the Eagles, with a better chance to win. One had them at 60%. I saw another one at 56-44. So really, you know, taking the home field into occasion and the underdog and getting some guys back, hopefully, who will be able to assist. So let's see. Moneyline Eagles +107, over under 45.5. God, if the Eagles are going to win this game, it's going to have to be over. It really is. I don't think they're going to win this game like they won the Dallas game, 17-10, 17-3. Even the game they played against these guys last time, 17-9. Their offense left a couple on the field and scored 17 points, so I certainly see them eclipsing that 20 mark, even though that would be over what the Eagles' defense has been averaging, given up here over the past month. I think they eclipsed at 20, and the Eagles are going to have to score 24 to 28 points to win this game. So I'm looking at 28-21, 28-24. You know, low 50s type of matchup here where really I got to take Seattle. I can't be a homer. Obviously, I'm rooting for the Birds. I think they're going to, you know, give it a hell of a shot. And we're going to have a football game in the 4th quarter if we hang on to the football. But realistically speaking, 3 wins against the Giants, Redskins, and then a 4th against the Cowboys. I just can't take that full 180 leap and go, this is a really good football team now. But honestly, this is the team you wanted. It's at home. It's the late game Sunday. The Link's going to be fired up. Everybody's going to be lubed up, feeling good. And, you know, I think they got a chance. Maybe we'll get another double doink again this year. But final prediction, I'm going 27-20 Seattle over. Seattle covers 27-20. God, I hope I eat crow and I'm wrong and we're taking a trip to San Francisco next week to watch the championship round. But if not, it was a hell of a run this year. Either way, we're going to talk about it next week. I'm going to be right back here with you guys, breaking down the win, watching the film. We can discuss, you know, going to New San Fran. Let's stay positive. We'll talk about going to San Fran. But that'll do it for this episode of Road to Victory here from Too Close to Call Sports, the sports podcast, Philadelphia, all of the above. If you haven't already, do me a favor, subscribe, like, review the pod. You know, scroll down while you're listening to this on iTunes, hit 5 stars. Everything helps. It really helps spread the word. As well as Instagram, Facebook, follow Too Close to Call Sports, follow KMiho20, Usula Media, Usula Radio, all of the above. But I really appreciate you guys listening. Hopefully the end of the week's been really good to you. We're the beginning of the weekend, and we're getting ready for Sunday's matchup. Eagles, Seahawks, another playoff game here, 2020. Let's see if we can make a run. Either way, I'll talk to you guys early next week. I appreciate you listening out there. Everybody, love you. Peace.